go. Okay, we're about to go live now. I think we're live now. Let me just test it out. Let me go to YouTube. Okay, we are live now. So let me test out YouTube. Okay, let me check it out. Gotta go to my channel. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm live right now. I see him live right now. Okay, try talking, Ty. Try talking.
Yo, 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 testing, testing, testing.
Okay, yeah, just say like a sentence or two. Like say a
One
sentence.
Piece, Kaido, Big Mom.
Okay, I'm live right now. I see him live right now. Okay, let me just listen. Okay, try talking, Ty. Try talking.
Yo, 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 testing, testing.
Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. But yeah, we're live, yo. We got 12 viewers so far in the beginning. I see the chat just talking right now. Wait. Oh, someone said, bro, you never discussed our boy Sanji. Well, today with the Sanji will be discussed. So I see All Blue 716. Yeah, Sanji will be discussed. But what's going on, everybody? LegendMac here. Second stream since the chapter dropped. And today I got my boy Ty. It's been a long time since I talked to this guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is like years in the making, honestly. We used to stream back in the days, on his channel, obviously in the Brago stream. So this is the first time we've actually discussed One Piece in so long. So, Ty, you want to say any quick things before I actually start the discussion? Did everyone want to say anything?
Anything? So what's up, what's up, what's up? And yeah, it's definitely good to stream and talk about One Piece. And yeah, Sanji will be discussed.
Yeah,
today.
100%. Yeah, someone even just said right now, talk that One Piece right now. Okay, so today, I'm not gonna lie, you guys see the title, yo. Is Zoro stronger than the Admirals? I know it's a crazy title, but that's gonna be the final thing we talk about. There's gonna be other things we talk about first, but I want to start off by asking Ty this, yo. You saw the Lucci fight? After Zoro fought
Yes,
Lucci,
yes.
After Zoro fought Lucci, did anything change after that fight?
What the what is there to change? So like I would say the Lucci fight is a tricky situation, right? Part of it is kind of like it was almost like a pointless fight, but then it almost wasn't, because that's a fight where it's like, I don't think anybody thought that Zoro would lose. So it was a fight of like, we know Zoro was gonna win, just when and how type of thing. It wasn't. So I feel like the stakes on that fight wasn't really like, it's like Zoro kind of had to win that.
You didn't really feel like there was a chance of Zoro losing. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. And even if it was, right, Jinbe going there as backup made it less likely, because if anything they would 2v1 him before Jinbe just sits back and would let Zoro lose.
Yeah, Sanji was threatening Zoro by saying, "Yo, Jinbe, help this guy out."
Yeah, see,
yeah.
this is the thing, right? It seems like, okay, while Zoro versus Lucci seemed like a fight that Zoro's gonna win, it just depends when. And unfortunately about that, like, it doesn't matter how strong Lucci is, it's like Zoro seemed guaranteed to win that. I didn't get the same vibes from Sanji versus Kizaru. That looked like a fight that, like, if that was to continue, Sanji could possibly lose. You know what I mean? Something a fight that Sanji probably would most likely lose.
Okay,
so you see the difference in the dynamics of their fights?
Let me ask you this, yo. Does the time, like a lot of people are saying the time doesn't matter. Does the amount of time it took Zoro to defeat him, does that matter to you?
Yes, that does matter. And I feel like, people have a terrible people have a terrible misunderstanding of what a one-shot is, because I see all over Twitter, Zoro one-shotted Lucci. Like, really, 6 months later? Like what are y'all talking about? Like, to me, that's not a one-shot. A one-shot is like what a one shot is like what Itachi did to Kakashi. Mm-hmm. Like, a one shot is like what Kaido did to Luffy. Like, on sight, This is my first technique. It's a one shot. Or on sight, I dodge a few of your techniques, then I hit you. You knocked it. That's a one shot. Not like you're hitting me but I'm blocking it. So you didn't technically hit me. I'm hitting you, but you're blocking, or you're taking damage. But like, a couple of chapters later, you finally get a hit on me, and now I'm knocked out. That's so much like I don't consider that a one shot. So I
Okay,
think that time.
can I ask you this though? Did
Got
if Zoro one shot him like Kaido, would that change things?
Oh yeah. Because then Rob Lucci would look like trash because it's like he just one sided them straight up like no competition. But that's what I mean. So imagine, okay, look how high Kaido's portrayal was at the start of Wano because of what he did to Luffy, right? So imagine if Kaido, what would y'all think of Kaido, right? If at the start of Wano he struggled with Luffy as much as Zoro struggled with Lucci, but in the end he won still in a one shot type way, if that's what people are calling one shot. You know what I mean? It would be like Kaido. I think Luffy could win, but Kaido one shotting him the way that he did made it seem like Luffy had no chance to most people.
Okay. So let me ask you this right now. Rob Lucci. We seen Rob Lucci fight Gear Fifth Luffy in the beginning of this arc. Obviously, Luffy was
Right.
playing around and almost knocked him unconscious with one punch in the gut and the chest. And now we're seeing Zoro. That fight was a little bit longer than like Luffy and Lucci's fight wasn't that long compared to Zoro and Lucci's fight. So
Right.
let me ask you this right now. Some people I see it on Twitter. They're saying that Zoro only took one attack. Luffy was doing multiple attacks. What are your thoughts on that? People comparing Luffy and Zoro to because they both fought Lucci. Do you think that comparison is foolish, or do you think it has some credit?
It's okay to compare it, but I think that if they're comparing Zoro's one finishing blow attack to the multiple attacks that Luffy used, I think that they're misunderstanding how strong these characters is because, like you said, Luffy wasn't really taking it. He wasn't really taking it serious. He was probably nerfed. Like I am behind, so I don't know all the details about stuff. But
Yeah.
but besides that, right? Zoro, if he was that strong, okay, because here's the thing, right? Like if Zoro could have just, all right, people take it a different type of way. I take it as if like, and also Lucci wasn't even full health, but I take it that like even though Lucci was throwing blows, right? And if Zoro did any attacks to him back, that like he was worn down, and I feel like at that point Zoro could one shot him. If Zoro could have did it at the start of the fight, to me it would just be better if Oda showed that, not like have this whole long drawn out thing, and then Zoro does it. So to me, like if it's not done straight up like how Kaido did it, I don't consider that the same thing. But it's still good that Zoro has a technique that was able to one shot a right hand level Zoan. I would say even stronger than right hand. But the way that Zoro is, I forgot.
How strong?
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask Ty. Let me ask you this, yo. How strong is Rob Lucci in comparison to like King and Wano or Queen and Wano? Like, how strong is Rob Lucci? He's awakened his double ability. We've seen him use Haki. He has the whole CP0 fighting style, Rokushiki. So,
Right.
how strong is Rob Lucci after the Zoro fighting? Seeing him fight Zoro, because Zoro did have to use Conqueror's Haki coding to actually defeat Rob Lucci. So, how strong is Rob Lucci? How do you view him?
Okay, so my assessment of his abilities as the authority of power scaling in the One Piece community is that he is the strongest opponent that Zoro has ever faced. If people want to give him credit or not, he's not even right. He's not even high right hand man level. He's in between. So I would say like Rob Lucci right now is probably what Marco was at Marineford. Where it's like, he's not the typical right hand man, but he's not no Yonko. And if you want to put admirals like higher than a right hand man, but beneath a Yonko, then he's probably, that gets tricky. But I feel like Rob Lucci he's like what Marco was at Marineford, or he's like like that midway character. A character I had at that midway point was Mihawk. Like I feel like he's stronger than the right hand man, obviously, but I didn't think he was Yonko level.
Yeah.
now the story is kind of portraying him more like a Yonko level character because, I don't think Buggy Crew has no Yonko level characters on it at all. So that would kind of be Mihawk.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing, right? We talked about before the stream started, and the sad thing in the community is that people are screen time power scaling, meaning that just because Doflamingo got all of this screen time, they think he's stronger than a character like Cracker with less screen time, even though Big Mom said, "Oh, you beat Dofi, so I'm sending Cracker."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though Kaido said, Dofi's too weak, but then Kaido said that I know Jack, you're not weak.
Yeah.
It's just that Eno and Neko or whatever.
You feel like lately people, because everyone, let's be honest here, the fans of One Piece, a lot of people consider Doflamingo the greatest villain in One Piece when it comes to story arcs.
Right.
So you think people are looking at that and pretty much giving him
right
and making him stronger.
Right. They're factoring screen time into it. They're factoring how much they like him as a villain, not just like what's up with his hands, what's up with his defense, what's up with his speed.
Okay, then let me ask you this question just to get a little interesting now, because I see your opinion on Zoro. I see your opinion on Lucci. So how would Sanji do against Rob Lucci? Like, do you have an opinion on that?
How would Sanji do versus Rob Lucci? Let me see. If Sanji, okay, so I'll say this, right? If Sanji was to fight Rob Lucci, I feel like it's the same kind of scenario as Zoro. He's probably not going to one-shot him because he has a different style. Sanji kind of wins over like built-up damage, but Sanji normally has an easier time during his fights than Zoro has in his fights, and the power gap between these characters aren't really too big, people say. And it doesn't seem like maybe Lucci was like a mid-diff for Zoro. Mm-hmm. Some people might say low diff, but I think most people has it between mid or low. So I would say Sanji would probably, mid diff, Lucci too. But it presents the same problems that, like, after fighting someone like Queen, right? Yeah. Who was an Awakened Zoan, and who also had the different types of modifications to their body, the poison and stuff like that, or the ice bullets, whatever his hacks was from Caesar. After beating somebody like that, it's hard to imagine that he would lose to Rob Lucci. But what worked out in Rob Lucci's favor that these other characters don't have, which is why I said that he's Zoro's strongest opponent, and I kind of put him somewhere in between Right Hand and Yonko, is that he actually did pretty good versus a Gear 5 Luffy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Which from what we were talking about before the stream started, right? Even after Luffy beat Katakuri, and he was right-hand man level somewhat, whether that was low right-hand man level, mid right-hand man level, or high right-hand man level, he went to Wano and got one-shotted by Kaido. So it's not like, just because you're at one, we've been more so seeing that if you're only right-hand man level, you can't do nothing to a Yonko. And so when Queen captured Big Mom because she was in her whatever state that was, right? Mm-hmm. And he brought her over to King and Queen. King was like, this is three people now. All three of them is not right-hand man, but this is like the first strongest in the crew, not counting the captain, the second strongest and the third strongest, right? So King is like, yo, Jack, why did you bring her here? And Queen is like, yeah. And he's like, I don't know, but I captured her. And it's like they couldn't even do nothing to Big Mom in cuffs. So for Rob Lucci to even be able to hold his own versus a Gear 5th Luffy, that shows he's not just no right-hand man character. So it's gonna be stuff that King has over him, like his lineage and his special abilities. But I think Rob Lucci's shown to be higher because we're not gonna ever see Luffy doing the type of punch he did, which I think was Haki coded, and King doing a Haki coded punch, and them being equal. And as much as people like to hype Katakuri up, he's not doing an equal punch clash with Luffy either. But Rob Lucci was able to do that.
Okay, so then this leads to my next question. Because I asked you Sanji and Lucci, and I seen your answer there. Right now, Zoro versus Sanji, do you see that as like extreme diff? Like, do you see them as the same level right now currently, or do you think there's a difference, a gap?
So I would say they're around the same level, but it's Zoro is stronger because these are two different characters I feel like, right?
Mm-hmm.
With their goals and their motivations and stuff like that, and also with what they care about. So to me, they were equal when Sanji had his raid suit and Zoro got Emma. They were equal. I feel like that's the best argument that could be made for them being equal. But where we're at in this point of the story, right, where Sanji didn't want to use his raid suit, he destroyed it. I get it that some of his exoskeleton or whatever it was called, it continued to, develop anyway, and it still kind of gave him a boost. But I don't think that boost is equivalent to him having the raid suit, especially with the ability to turn invisible. So with Zoro, we have a character that he wants to be the king of hell. He wants to be this monster. He doesn't care. He just wants to be like, the world greatest swordsman.
Yeah. And
with Sanji, because he wasn't sure what happened when he hit the girl or not, he felt like he was becoming this monster that he didn't want to be, and he didn't want to be that way. So he decided to get rid of the raid suit because he felt like the raid suit was making him into like a kind of monster he doesn't want to be. So I feel like that was showing us like, look, this is monster Sanji. It could happen, but he's the type of character that he's not going to do that.
So let me ask you this: do you feel like Sanji, when he had the exoskeleton, and then he used the Haki on top of that, because that was one of the few times where Sanji actually highlighted that he's using Haki in the story of One Piece. And then he got the blue flames. And then he mollywopped Queen. Do you feel like the raid suit would have made him stronger in that situation?
So, of course, the raid suit would have made him, like, it's a buff, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, it's cool that Sanji got some type of a buff anyway, right? Yeah. And it's cool that he was able to, mollywop Queen, but at the same time, it's like him having the raid suit only gives him more durability. It only makes him stronger, and I think it made him faster too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it would be like if Zoro, on top of getting Emma, right?
Yeah.
Or let's not say on top of getting Emma. Instead of getting Emma, he had Mihawk's blade, right? So he got this massive power, but then he's like, no, I don't want to have Mihawk's blade. I want to make a name for myself on my own. So he takes that blade away, right?
Okay.
So, and say he still mollywops King, right? Or he hide this to win or whatever, right? Yeah. Without Mihawk's blade. To act like that blade isn't giving him the crazy buff. Yeah.
Okay, that leads to my
right.
That leads to my next question then. If Sanji got the raid suit, since you believe it makes him stronger, does that change the Zoro versus Sanji fight for you?
Yes, because that puts them more on equal terms, and I think they're equal in what they're capable of. I don't think they're completely equal to that they'll double KO each other. So this is kind of what I think about Zoro and Sanji. I'll give two different similar scenarios, right? So when you play Pokemon, any Pokemon game, right? But I'll use the original one, red, blue, and green.
Okay.
You could pick Charmander, right? You could pick Squirtle, or you could pick Bulbasaur. Yeah. It might not seem that way, right? But all of those Pokemon, they have the same base stats from the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage. But what happens is that their movesets is different, their fighting styles is different, and their types is different, but they all have like the same number of base stats. So in a way, it's like, they all are technically as good as each other. It just depends on who you want. I think like Charizard has the most special attack, Blastoise too, but then Blastoise has more defense, but then Charizard has more speed, but then Venusaur has more defense. Like it just depends like which one you want, but it's not like you're at a disadvantage picking one over the other, not counting that world in mind, like what type is better or worse in that world, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like they all have the same base stats. So kind of like another example is
that
like
how you're going to view like Zoro and Sanji? Like they have the same base stats, but
right. Yeah, right. The same base stats, just their stats is in different places. So this happens again with the Eevee Pokemon. All of those different Eevees, whether it's the Ice Eevee, the Grass Eevee, the Fire one, the Umbreon, Espeon, they all have the same base stats. It's just their stats is in different places and their moveset is different. Yeah. And even like when you're playing 2K or whatever, right? Like say like if you have a character, let's like this is a broken character and their total base stats is like 98 or something like that, or 97 or 96, right? But then you have another broken character, their base stats, like the overall is 96 too. their stats isn't going to all be in the same place, but they have the same, amount of stats,
Yeah, like
which
if you
which gives up the same rate. Yeah, so
say
I feel like
Shaq and
that's
like back in the days when Shaq was in the Lakers and Kobe's in the Lakers. Let's say they're both for 98. They both do different things.
right. Exactly. They're both 98, but they both don't have the same stats in the same places. Yeah, I feel like that's Zoro and Sanji.
Okay, can I say this though? How much does it make a difference that Zoro has Conqueror Haki coding? Is that a different? Does that make is that a big difference? Or is
No,
it really
because
neutral?
Sanji makes up for that in his own type of ways. Just like okay, like it's so like I said, from what I've seen, right, and not being biased about it, I don't even like Rob Lucci all that much. I like his fight versus Luffy,
Yeah.
and I like how intimidating he was when he was first revealed. But that's not, that's not like my favorite character like that. I don't think I like his design,
Yeah.
his design like that. But
Okay.
okay, so you said that.
I said, does the Conqueror Haki coding of Zoro, is there a difference?
Okay, yeah. So this is what I was going to get at. So Rob Lucci, he doesn't have the special invincible thing that King could do, but he makes up for it.
Okay.
He doesn't have future sight, but he makes up for it. He doesn't have King Conqueror's Haki, right? Rob Lucci?
No, he doesn't have Conqueror Haki.
Yeah, so he makes up for it. So I feel like it's one of those types of things. So I feel like, while Zoro has that and Sanji doesn't, Sanji makes up for it. Whether that's his speed, his durability, whatever it might be. I feel like Sanji makes, like, he has his own thing that makes up for that. Like, I don't feel like that's the deciding factor on, because Marco was very strong. We saw him 2v1 King and Queen and do really good, but it's not like he has King Conqueror's Haki. But then somebody like Dofi who has it, I don't think Dofi 2v1s those people. I think he gets washed trying to fight King and Queen at the same time.
So how much of a difference is Conqueror Haki coding then, like in general for you?
How much of a okay?
I'll say this. After Wano, I was in the same mindset as you. I felt like people made up for it. I felt like Eustass Kid made up for it with his awakening. I felt like Law made up for it with his awakening. I felt like Mythical Zoan Marco makes up for it because he's a Mythical Zoan, or Sanji makes up for it because he has the exoskeleton and he has the blue flames and all that. But recently,
and Sanji could still get it later. I feel like,
exactly,
even though he might have it
later,
now.
and Eustass Kid has Conqueror Haki, so he could obviously get Conqueror Haki coding too later. Like, I always felt like that, but recently, I felt like this change happened to me after the Lucci Zoro fight. That's crazy because that was recent, but after the Lucci Zoro fight, when Zoro mid diffed him, I'm gonna be honest with you, people don't understand. That's actually pretty impressive for Zoro. Like, Rob Lucci's a very powerful character. Like, he was fighting Gear Faith Luffy early in the arc, so.
Right.
For him to get mid-diff by the vice captain to a Yonko, the right-hand man to a Yonko, I'm starting to realize that maybe Oda does put a lot of extra on Conqueror Haki Cody, because remember when Luffy was fighting Kaido with the help of Kid, Law, Killer, and Zoro in the beginning of the Onigashima raid? And then
he was the only one that could damage them at first.
And then he gets Conqueror Haki coding, and it's no competition now. Like, no one can hang with Luffy. Law and Zoro get your ass
right.
And the only way Zoro was able even to scar Kaido was through Conqueror Haki coding. So, for some reason, I feel like Oda is trying to give the vibe of like Conqueror Haki coding is the next.
Right, but Killer was still able to damage Kaido.
But permanent scar is different. A permanent scar is different, So
right. And then Kid.
I feel like
Kid and Law.
Kaido in his hybrid form is actually very, very durable. Like even like it took Luffy a while for him to actually knock down a hybrid form like Kaido. It took him Conqueror Haki coding actually to do it, So I feel like Zoro, I'm starting to give him more credit because what's funny? Ashura was cool and all, and blocking Big Mom and Kaido's attack for a couple seconds was cool and all, but Conqueror's Haki coding he got, because what's funny, it wasn't really that crazy effective against King, because King has the Lunarian properties to actually help against coding. Like you mentioned, people have things to help with Conqueror's Haki coding, but the thing with Zoro is he just went up against an awakened Zoan, and they're known for their durability, and he
so did Sanji, and like you said, he mollywopped them without it.
Yeah, he mollywopped Queen, but I feel like awakened is different. Whenever someone goes up against an awakened character Zoan, they said Awakened Zone are known for their.
Okay. So this is the misunderstanding that I probably have from you. Yeah. So maybe, okay, so it probably wasn't said, but the way that I took it, right, like how much monstrous Jack was, like dude just does not stay down. He gets back up.
Yeah.
With how strong Queen was, with how strong King was, I felt like they were all awakened. So to me, it's like Sanji already beat an awakened
Well, no,
zone when he
the
beat
thing
Queen.
is, King, Queen, and Jack, they have their own special properties. They're ancient zones. Ancient zones are already known for their durabilities. Like that base ancient zones are known for their durability. But
Yeah, so you're trying to say unless they have like the black smoke around them or the black whatever,
I'm just saying that
they're not awakened zones.
look at the Gorosei. The Gorosei all have the black smoke, and their recoverabilities are like it's not even. And people don't even think they have zone delta abilities. People think they're actually their creatures. They don't
Right,
even have
right.
abilities. So I'm just saying that I feel like I was low key downplaying Conqueror Saki coding after Wano because I was thinking like Zoro, Yamato has it, Zoro has. I'm thinking okay, like yeah, it's cool and all, but now I'm starting to realize like the only way Yamato was able to fight Kata 1v1 is through Conqueror Saki coding, and still she was like couldn't really hang like that. And then Luffy, that's like he lost the 1v1 after Conqueror Saki coding. He needed to awaken his level to add it onto it, but I feel like I'm starting to give more credit to Conqueror Saki coding because like we saw what Shanks did to Kid, with that divine departure.
Right.
So I feel like I'm not gonna give Zoro like full like on credit. Like I don't think Zoro's Conqueror Saki is at the level he needs to be yet. I still think it's relatively new.
Right.
But I do think I'm starting to give it more credit, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It leads to my next question for you. You ready for this question?
Okay, yeah, but I was gonna say that I don't think, like I said, like I think like if Sanji fought Lucci instead, that it's the same thing, that it's not realistic for him to lose at that point. So Sanji would still mid diff him or high diff him, probably mid diff him too, especially after dealing with somebody like Queen. So it's good that Zoro beat that opponent, but it seemed like that was an opponent that like even let me see something. Even Jinbe, like maybe Jinbe could lose high diff, but it's even hard to imagine, Jinbe losing to Rob Lucci, especially with Jinbe beating this guy, who was considered to be like on par with Rob Lucci at some point, if you get what I'm trying to say. So it's like he has great feats because he clashed with Gear 5 Lucci, but it's like Rob Lucci is kind of bad because that's like an opponent that almost anybody should beat who's top tier in the crew.
Yeah. I'll even say, like, I'll be honest with you, like Rob Lucci and Kaku, like their awakening, they low key kind of put like a damper in awakening for Zoans because
right.
Say this, like, let's be honest here, Zoro was already packing out Kaku before he fought Lucci, easily. So
right.
I will say
even Sanji, it's not like dag Zoro didn't beat him yet. This is Rob Lucci. It makes sense. Yeah. It was like dag. This is like Sanji was talking trash. Like yo, like see what I'm saying? Like Sanji, like I get it, but Sanji was talking trash. Like yo, I would have been beat Lucci by now. This is disappointing.
Yes. Okay. So let me ask you this next question then, because if Zoro and Sanji are able to mid diff Rob Lucci, the leader, the strongest CP0 member, I'm gonna ask you this next question now. We've seen Sanji go out of the Kizaru for a little bit. How would Zoro do against Kizaru in a fight? Like, I want to see how far are you willing to put Zoro right now in the One Piece, currently in the One Piece story, because I feel like Oda is really making Zoro and Sanji progress extremely fast. So I want to hear where you have Zoro right now. Like, can he actually tango with Kizaru? Like, how will that fight go? I want to hear your opinion.
Let me see. Can he actually beat Kizaru? Let me see, because I remember the panel where he was fighting Rob Lucci.
Luffy right now is packing out Kizaru. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like he's actually
right. No competition. That's why I always said the Admirals was overhyped, and we are at a point in this story where not only it just makes sense for Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbe to be able to beat Rob Lucci. We are also at a point in the story where Luffy shouldn't be, he shouldn't lose to an Admiral. I was even more so. I feel like I see the power difference now to why they probably couldn't have did that with them struggling so much against Dofi. But I feel like in Dressrosa, they probably could have beat Fuji if Luffy and Zoro work together. But if Zoro, okay, so here's the thing, right? If if Zoro could do that to Lucci, right? And I put Lucci like somewhere in between a right hand man and a Yonko.
Yeah.
I would probably put the admirals the way that the story currently is in between that. So the admirals would be like maybe like a half a step higher.
So the admirals are kind of like for you, they're in between Lucci and the Yonko.
Right. Yeah. So Kizaru definitely came off stronger than Lucci. Uh, but I don't think but for me, he didn't come off equal to Lucci or super stronger. So I would say like he's a half step. But if Zoro could mid diff Lucci, I think it's possible for him to high diff Kizaru. And if he was in Sanji's shoes, but the same thing for Sanji, like, you know, if he had to fight Kizaru, I think he could like, you know, like high diff and get the win. Or if Sanji loses, I think, you know, it's only fair to say that, well, then, you know, Zoro would lose too. But a definite win would be this current Zoro after beating Lucci when you take in the experience boost fighters get. Because it's like, you know, it's a bigger gap to close. Like, look how big the gap was when Luffy beat Lucci the first time, right? And look how big the gap was Luffy versus Katakuri. And look how big the gap was between Luffy and Kaido. So I feel like that gap isn't too big for Zoro or Sanji to overcome, like where they're at right now versus Kizaru. And maybe it's that, because my bad, I forgot that. Okay, so Sanji should be able to win high diff, right? But if he loses, it's high diff, and it's only because he doesn't have the rage suit, where Zoro has his power up still, Emma.
So
like his full power up.
If you believe Zoro can defeat Kizaru now, do you consider right now Zoro Admiral level?
Yes, but once he beat King, I felt like he was Admiral level. Like the way that the story is doing things now, right? It seems like they are positioning the admirals to be like where I said, where like you know, between Lucci and a Yonko. But what was happening before, which is why I've been considered Zoro Admiral level once he beat King, was that it seemed like every time a right-hand man fought an Admiral or they clashed, that the right-hand man had the better of the exchange. I made many videos about that topic. And even today, I could still say that, like, you know, when we see Green Bull, you know, destroy King and Queen, right?
Yeah.
They have bandages on and they're weak. So it's like you can't really count that as if he could do that if they were at full health. So we still don't have a fair Admiral beating a right-hand man or even getting the better of the fight versus a right-hand man in a fair fight. You know what I mean? Like, and even at Marineford, when Kizaru got the upper hand on Marco, it's when he had his back turned, worrying about Whitebeard. So it seemed like the admirals, they're like these scummy characters where, like, you know, they'll hit you when your back is turned. They'll come to your territory when your captain is destroyed. You know what I mean? Like,
is that
and
like,
and when you're weak.
Is that like when like Shanks was telling Green Bull to like chill, like these guys just fought a war, like relax a little bit.
Right. And then it's like look how shook he look how shook he was with that. So I don't have no hate. I just be trying to power skill accurately. So with the story, you know, the story is kind of showing, I feel like, that Kizaru was stronger than Lucci. And like I said, that I felt like Sanji could possibly lose versus Kizaru. But the same thing, like if Zoro was to fight Kizaru, I would feel the same way. But if Sanji was to fight Lucci, I would feel like, you know, he's going to win. Just winning and how.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. Okay, let me just give me.
So once Sanji beat Queen,
I'm gonna ask you a question right now. Give me a quick answer. I'm gonna do like a speed thing. Okay, just tell me yes or no. Does Zoro beat Green Bull?
At this point, yes.
Okay. Because just say yes or no. Yes or no. We're gonna talk later about this. So just say yes or no. Okay. Okay. Does Zoro beat Fujitora for you?
Yes.
Okay. Does Zoro beat Kizaru for you?
Yes.
And does Zoro beat Akainu?
Does he beat Akainu? Yeah. Let me see. I'll say no, because that's not. He's a fleet admiral. I don't think it's the same power level.
Okay, so you feel like Akainu is like a little bit. He's not.
Yeah. So So while it wasn't hard to tell that Kizaru struggled to keep up with Luffy, I don't think that would happen to Akainu.
Oh, okay. So from what I'm getting from this, you believe that Zoro is stronger than the admirals currently in the story, and you feel like after
Yes,
Wano,
especially after beating, especially right. He beat King something. So here's the thing, right? Zoro actually has a feat that the Admiral still don't have. He legitly beat a right hand man, which in a fair fight, and the Admiral still never did that. I mean, like that's something that Kizaru struggled to do with Marco. Zoro actually had it under his belt, and then he even beat somebody like Lucci, who is stronger than a right hand man. And then I feel like with the gap not being too big, right, where it's like right hand man, Lucci, the Admirals, then a Yonko, it's only one step up. I feel like that Zoro has to pass to beat the Admirals, and I can see him growing, like closing the distance in that fight if he's not there already.
Okay, you know what's funny? That's pretty interesting because if I'm being completely honest with you, I do believe that if Zoro was fighting Fujitora right now, or if he was fighting Green Bull, like if Zoro won, I wouldn't be completely shocked. If I'm being completely honest. So, like how to say this, I low key view Zoro as Admiral level right now in the story. Now, is he stronger than Kizaru? I want to wait till Egghead Island is over first because I still think we have to see if Kizaru is gonna bring out Awakening. Is this all Kizaru has? That's the thing. I don't know if he can bring out Awakening, that might change my perception. And
okay. So if he pulls out something, here's the thing. This is not gonna happen, right? Unfortunately, right? But if he pulls out some type of awakening that shows he's on a Yonko level, then yeah, Zoro still has a way to go. But if he does nothing to get him out of this is the thing, right? To me, he's in a terrible place of like the only way up, right, is Yonko level. Yeah. And I don't think he's Yonko level, especially with like some people even started scaling that, like, you know, it's all on Saturn now, you know, Kizaru seems out of it. And even now, where it's like it's more on the other Gorosei, Kizaru seems out of it. It doesn't seem like that's the type of power Oda's trying to give him. It seemed like he's stuck to where like the only thing he can do to me that could make me think Zoro or Sanji can't beat him is if he shows like a crazy Yonko level power, which I don't think he has.
Just to play devil's advocate, let me defend Kizaru here for a second, okay? Just to play devil's advocate. I want to say this. What if for the people saying that maybe we're cutting Kizaru too much slack because he is going up against Luffy after fighting Kaido, like. And Luffy is trying instead of like when Luffy was fighting Lucci, he wasn't really trying. Now he's actually trying against Kizaru, and we're seeing him do devastating attacks, named attacks, Conqueror Haki coding on these attacks. So, just the way devil's advocate, do you think that we're being a little biased because we're seeing Luffy throw him around? Like, if it was another character, like, would they do the same to like if it was not a Yonko, would Kizaru get the same effect? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wait. So are you saying like if King was doing this to Kizaru?
Like if King was fighting Kizaru instead of Luffy right now, like wouldn't that change our opinions of Kizaru? Like wouldn't Kizaru automatically do better? You know?
No. So here's the thing. I don't get how
don't you have Luffy at a really high fight after Wano? Like after Wano, Luffy.
But he's okay. Yeah, but this is the thing.
You know?
So at the end of the day, right? Luffy is a Yonko now. Before it was questionable if he was a Yonko because he was the fifth one and it was iffy, but he's a legit Yonko now. And that's just the power level of the Yonko. We saw what Shanks did. So here's the thing, right? Like it might seem bad, but when Shanks could do that to Green Bull just by pulling out his sword, it makes sense that Luffy could do these things to Kizaru and make him look like trash because that's pretty much what Oda did. Is that like, you know, maybe he's like people got it twisted. Let me show him that compared to a Yonko, these admirals is trash and anything else was cap. And I feel like that's what we're seeing. So now if Kizaru's opponent changes, but he's still getting treated like that, it just makes him look worse because it's like King is doing that to you and not a Yonko. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's you know it's like it's no coming back from what's happening to Kizaru. He's just fighting somebody that he's not on par. And also I think that people it's a scene in Marineford, right? Aokiji makes everything ice, right?
Yeah.
Akainu gets mad and he's like, what's wrong with him freezing up everything or whatever. And Kizaru goes, "Oh, why don't you melt it?" And he has this look on his face like, "Why are you saying that? You know I can't melt it." But we know that Kizaru likes being sarcastic like that.
Yeah.
So it's like he knew that he couldn't melt the ice, that it was easier said than done. He kind of like said that to troll Akainu. So then later when we're in Wano, right? And he's talking about like, his Big Mom and his Kaido and Luffy's on the way. And Kizaru goes, "Do you want me to go over there?" So Akainu goes, "No, we don't know about the strength of the samurai." But I feel like that was another troll-ish thing. Like, he's gonna say, "Do you want me to go over there?" Knowing that Akainu can't justify sending him over there as a fleet admiral. Like to send Kizaru over there would be worse than when the Hokage sent Jiraiya to the Rain Village. You know what I mean? So I feel like people took his trolling for a serious, like, "Oh, I could 1v2 Kaido and Big Mom." It's like, no, he knew that he was underqualified for that, and it was like a troll to me.
So you personally believe that, like, when Marco's words, when Zoro and Sanji were about to fight King and Queen, Marco said these are the next stars, like they're about to take the stage, like these guys are at the next level, like pretty much Marco was pretty much passing on the torch to Zoro and Sanji during Wano, and Marco was going against Kizaru during Marineford War, and then we had the whole controversy of Ben Beckman stopping Kizaru for a little bit. So do you feel like Zoro and Sanji have now reached like Admiral level, and fans should just accept that Zoro and Sanji are Admiral level? Like, do you honestly just think that?
Oh, okay. So here's what I'm saying. So they are the old Admiral level, which is anything that for the most part, any of us ever talked about before Egghead. Egghead, I feel like, is showing that, Admiral level isn't a right-hand man. Mm-hmm. Admiral level is, and it's not in between, because in between a right-hand man and a Yonko would be Lucci. So Egghead is trying to show us that in between Lucci and a Yonko is Admiral level. So here's the thing. I don't think that they're on that level, but I feel like the gap, because I feel like both Zoro and Sanji could beat Lucci, whether that's mid diff or high diff, right? So I feel like the gap is small enough that they could beat an Admiral in battle. I'm not saying that they're Admiral level now.
So you're saying out of 10 times, like, they can get some wins in those 10 fights they have? Like,
no. Okay, so
wait, do you know that reference though? Like when people say like how many times out of 10 can beat someone, like 6 out of 4, like 6 out of 4, like what's the ratio?
So okay, so I think they beat the Admirals every time, being honest, because here's the thing, right? When I see, everybody looks at these fights differently, right? But when I saw Zoro versus King, I saw a way more powerful King than Zoro, but it seemed like Zoro figured some stuff out and was able to become the stronger fighter in the end. When I saw Sanji versus Queen, something similar. Like Queen's way stronger. Sanji found the way to overcome in the end. When I see Luffy versus Katakuri, I saw the same thing. When I see Luffy versus Kaido, the same thing. So I feel like if Zoro or Sanji was to fight Kizaru, of course they're gonna have a hard time at first, right? Yeah. But not too hard of a time, as we saw Sanji block, Kizaru's lasers and stuff like that. So I feel like the gap is small enough to where they could. They can get a high diff win in the end.
Okay. So let me ask you one more question, and it has to do with the last chapter. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's this Gorosei called Venus Juro. Looks like a Wano reference, and he's causing havoc. He has his sword hakied up,
right, with the black blade.
He's riding a horse. He's pretty much a half man, half horse, and he's just one-shotting like half the pacifistas on the island, freezing their brain circuits, and he's doing a lot of damage right now. And I was going to ask you this question. How powerful is Venus Juro, and how would Zoro do against Venus Juro in a fight? And do you have Venus Juro above Kizaru? That's my question. I have it's a layered question for you, okay.
All right, so here's the thing. Since I am behind, right, like I said, the last chapter I read was Vegapunk telling Dragon he doesn't think he has much to live. Now, I was able to see the Sephiroth hype, like how strong those things is. Like I saw the anime of Blackbeard fighting, I think who he fought, the Mihawk one or something like that, or yeah. I saw that, and I saw other examples of how strong they are. But the pacifista, though, I don't know how strong they are. Like how strong are these are these pacifists that he did. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's not like he did it to a suffering thing. If he would have did it to that, I could have been like, oh snap, he one-shotted one of those things that gave Blackbeard a hard time. But it's like
Well, I'll say
the
these
pacifists, right?
pacifistas are around the same level as like the pacifistas that Luffy and Zoro and Sanji were one shotting after the time skip, like kind of like that.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So it's like that's not really like that's kind of what I thought because these pacifists, right? They'll be hyped up one moment, right? Only to like after the time skip, it's like they're getting one shotted. So it seems like from what you're saying, like it's cool that he didn't have to two shot it or three shot it or four shot it or five shot it, but it's like assume he had to five shot the pacifista, right?
Yeah.
Unless that's a showing of speed, right? Yeah. Like that he's like the speed guy.
Yeah,
it looks pitiful.
It was more highlighting his speed because this was the rate he was doing it at. It wasn't really like him one shotting the pacifistas. It was the fact that he was doing it so fast. Like that was what people were impressed by.
Right. Okay, I thought you were trying to use that as like a power thing. Like he's one shot a pacifista. Okay, so
is he legit? Like, do you think he's above Venus?
Okay, so if his blade,
do you think he's above Kizaru? And also, don't forget what Saturn has done too. Saturn is actually fighting Luffy and like Kizaru.
Right. But I feel like let me see. I feel like Saturn is the weakest one.
So you believe Venus is stronger than Saturn?
Yeah. So I'm big on like we don't know what's gonna happen, right? We don't know like if all the Gorosei leaves together, if they all get defeated here or whatnot. But in situations like I get it that he could regen, so everything that happened to him wasn't that serious. He could like grow his limbs back or whatever. But I feel like One Piece follows the standard for the most part. We're going to introduce Whitebeard first. He's going to get killed first because he's the weakest Yonko at this point in the story. So I feel like us even getting him was because he was the weakest and stuff like that. Even his friends, even him having to be the one to summon his friends to bail him out. So when I was in the King of Lightning top 50 stream, right? We were talking about how strong we think he is. And the thing is that, and this was before he even had his power up that he did.
Yeah.
Like his second form.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, if he's the weakest, right? And other characters could be quicker than him or they could be stronger than him and they still they can't be damaged either. These Gorosei could be really dangerous characters that could potentially be equal or more dangerous than a Yonko. Just, he's not the one that's more stronger than a Yonko or whatever. So I would say that given that he can't be damaged as we currently know of, I feel like, yes, he's stronger than Kizaru. Maybe not in damage output, maybe not in speed, but like overall, the full package, so like I feel like his stats is higher.
How would Zoro do against him if they were to fight on Egghead Island next chapter? How would Zoro do?
He would lose because he can't damage him. As simple as that. I don't know. Now here's the thing. I don't know if he was okay. I feel like it's the Smoker versus Luffy thing, right? Where it's like as long as you can't use Haki to damage this guy, he's gonna win, unless you pull something to compensate for that and get the win. But if it's just that this guy had HP, him versus Zoro, Zoro would probably win unless he's that elite with his sword. What some people are saying is that he has a black blade and Shanks doesn't have a black blade, so he could be more stronger than what we're giving him credit for. And Zoro doesn't have his own black blade from his own experience yet. So it just depends. It's hard to gauge that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Like, do we put somebody's sword skills?
Yes.
Like, is he gonna give Shanks a hard time because he has a black blade, or it's like, nah, we're not really counting that.
Okay, yeah, 100%. Even we're not 100% sure he has black blade. Like, we don't know if he's using Haki.
Okay, yeah,
it's permanently black. But I will say this: it was nice to hear I was asking you all these questions. I just really want to see how powerful you thought Zoro was, and I kind of got the grasp of how strong you think he was by asking you these multiple questions and seeing where your head was at. So that was very cool, honestly. Also, everyone in the stream, guys, I seen we reached like around like 40 to 50 viewers, guys. Like the video, guys, and also go check out Taekwon's channel, yo. Like, check out Ty, yo. He's in the description box. His link's down there. He has a lot of things in the future coming out. Yo, you want to say anything you got in the future coming out? I'm not in the stream. I just want to like just let you plug your shit,
Oh, okay. So yeah, I've been making One Piece raps. They use references from the manga and they're dope. I should check them out. For the most part, everybody agrees that I can rap pretty good, and we don't really have no One Piece raps in the community like that. So definitely check out my channel. The music channel is gonna blow up probably sometime this year. I have enough music to put out like 2 One Piece mixtapes. And we've been talking about maybe me making more One Piece content, maybe like streaming with other content creators, or power scaling. And I am in the process of working on like a manga or like a story or comic, some kind of battle manga. I had a preview up on my YouTube channel, but YouTube took it down. But it's called uh, Twin Blade Style, and it's about a main character that wants to be the number one greatest swordsman in the world. So it's a story I had in my head from a different story that I created way before I got into One Piece. But with me being in the One Piece community and stuff like that, I didn't have the name Twin Blade Style before, but I thought that would be a cool name to name it. It's kind of similar to like, Zoro having 3 sword style. But I would say other than that, it's a different story. It's similar in the way that he wants to be the champion. Naruto wants to be the Hokage. Luffy wants to be the Pirate King. But my influences for it, besides other anime, is like mainly Mega Man. I like Mega Man. I would say like Naruto and Bleach. So like if you like Mega Man, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, you'll probably like that. And on my Twitter, LegendMac said he'll put the link in the video. If you look at my media, you'll see a preview for it. It actually got pretty good feedback on YouTube before they removed it.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that in the description and the comment section. Everyone who's here to witness this stream, this is the second stream I have back so far. If you guys obviously like the stream too, because that makes me want to stream more. If you guys are liking the stream,
right?
And of course,
and send donations.
Oh yeah, 100%. You gotta support the channel too, But no, I was gonna say this too. Now that we finished the Zoro topic, if you guys have any questions for Ty and me as well, but if you guys have any questions, put it in the chat and we'll actually talk about it, because I noticed a lot of the great discussions I get are from like the chat when people ask questions and stuff. Like they actually have really interesting questions. So I feel like we could talk about some epic stuff. Like honestly, I already had my first stream where I talked about the Gorosei, and the Gorosei, I'm not gonna lie, they are the hype right now. I do want to talk about.
Someone said Zoro can't even beat an Admiral, let alone Gorosei. But I don't know. I feel like we just discussed that how the power. Okay, he beat Lucci, who is in between a right-hand man and a Yonko. If the Admirals is only in between Lucci and a Yonko, I don't think the gap is big enough for Zoro to lose in that type of fight against the Admiral. Unless you're trying to say that Kizaru is Yonko level, he's just mentally not there all the way, so he's holding back and stuff like that. But that sounds like it's always excuses with the Admirals.
Yeah,
they're always holding back. That's been the biggest thing for the longest. They're holding back. They're holding back. Yeah, they're holding back.
100%. And I want to say this before we actually.
One Piece is almost over. One Piece is gonna end, and your Admiral fans is gonna be like, they were holding back.
Yeah, 100%.
Even when One Piece ends,
you have to understand, like, people are still living in like back in the days in the One Piece community. Remember back in the days when like we had the Admiral Yonko Commander debates and like the Luffy debates and the Doflamingo and the Cracker, and like it's the final saga. Oda is kind of tying up.
Y'all are doing pretty good because like I said, the perception of the Admirals is been heightened for me because of what Egghead showed. It's like I could still say that they legit never beat a right hand man, but since Kizaru, like Lucci, has Feats fight in Gear 5 Luffy, even if he hasn't looked good all the time, that's something that I don't think a right hand would do. I think a white hand would get Kaido to Luffy at the start of Wano.
Yeah.
So the Admirals is looking pretty good, but it's just not where y'all want it. I think I don't see Kizaru having some, like, unless like in Dragon Ball Z they kill Krillin.
Yeah.
And Goku just like, it's like, unless something has to happen, and I don't think it's happening. Like, this is the thing. This is not, the main character is Luffy. This is not Kizaru's story for him to get an insane power up or motivational boost to do something to be on Yonko level or higher. And I think that happens with a lot of these power scaling debates, is that this is a story where, like, it's Luffy's story. It's not Zoro's story. It's not Sanji's story. So Luffy will beat Zoro in a 1v1, and it's a big gap. because this is Luffy's story. If this was Zoro's story and Luffy was the support, it would be the other way around. But that plays a part in it. Akainu, King of Lightning, has a great video talking about how like that's it for the Admiral agenda, and Akainu is your last hope because he's the fleet admiral. He's not technically an admiral power character anymore.
Well, we got a question right now. Shout out to the donation. Iro sent $5 in.
Hey.
Shout out to that. And he says Zoro fans are coping because it's not a one shot since Lucci took damage from everyone on the island pre Zoro. So yo, Ty, what are your thoughts on that, yo? That's a
Yeah, no, that's something that okay, that's definitely honest. That definitely makes sense. Like it's not a one shot. Lucci wasn't at full health, but I forgot who I was talking to who said it. But either Brago or King of Lightning was telling me one time that because of the way that Zoro fights, if you look at all of his fights, this might have been before he fought King, but they said that all Zoro fights is one shots. That's just the way that his swordsmanship style is. With that being the case, every opponent he beats is going to be a one shot. So unfortunately, probably even when he fights Mihawk, that will probably end in being a one shot, just like Mihawk one shotted him. So being fair, knowing that if that's true, y'all let me know if that's true or not. I can't remember every single Zoro fight right now.
I remember Brooke
with me being behind and stuff.
I remember Ryuma and Zoro fought in Thriller Bark, and like the fight was very quick, but like Brooke said that means they're very close in power for swordsmanship to be like a quick fight. So
right,
I've seen statements like that.
But if that's the case, that Zoro always one shots his opponent, like even King, once he found out how to damage him, then to be fair, he was gonna one shot Lucci if he was at full health or not. So I can't really take that donation comment as credible, even though it was a donation.
Someone just said Zoro beat Lucci with one named attack. I see that right there. I see Lucci only took damage from Luffy. How's that, everybody? So yeah, the donation.
Oh, okay. Somebody said Mr. One wasn't a one shot, but I think that because here's the thing, Zoro wasn't. It's the same thing with King, right? At a point, he couldn't damage the guy because he was still. Once he used his Haki and he was able to cut him, it was a one shot. So I think that even that is a one shot. But I get what you're saying by it wasn't a one shot. But if you factor in like Mr. One actually taking damage or not, Zoro did beat him in a one shot.
Yeah, a lot of I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times,
like Cracker was a one shot, even though that might not seem like a one shot.
Yeah. People. I feel like a lot of people. Like, I'll give you an example. Like Shanks versus Kid. That's a one shot.
Right.
Because this is how I view one shot. This is how I view a one shot. I view a one shot where like he's hitting you with one attack, and you're done. You're done.
Right. That's how I view it too. But with Cracker though, when Luffy could never hit his body. But the second he hit his body, it's a one shot. I could see that as a one shot too, but I get it. That's not the typical one shot because so much went on in the fight. Just like Zoro versus Lucci, like I was trying to say that. I don't think that's a one shot. I'm surprised people are leading it that way, but they're trying to factor in. Okay, so here's the thing. Me and you have a different understanding of it, but if we take it to Pokemon, right? I feel like Pokemon just got the best power scaling system, right? Yeah. If I hyper beam you, right, and all your HP goes to my hyper beam, that's a one shot. Even if, right, for the first 3 turns, my hyper beam missed, and I did that on the 4th turn. So they're trying to factor in stuff like that. Like when you got hit, how much did your HP drop?
Well, I feel like the biggest example of a one shot is Kaido versus Gear Force Luffy, like in the beginning of Wano, because Luffy was doing numerous attacks, and then Kaido just got up and just one shotted him. So I feel like how to say this? I don't think it's like you see with Cracker. I don't think Cracker got one shotted because Luffy tried to hit him multiple times and he couldn't hit him. So the fact that Cracker has his biscuit soldiers,
because his defense was high, or because the biscuit soldiers?
The biscuit soldiers, and that's a part of Cracker. So
okay, but if we play Pokemon, wait, if we take it back to Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
If I make a substitute, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, your attack can't break my substitute on the first blow.
Yeah.
It takes you 2 blows. It's like if you hit me directly, that could still and you take away all my HP, that would still be considered a one shot, right?
So what I'm trying to say is like when it comes
A
to
substitute that's the Pokemon move where it kind of makes you like a weak clone with 25% of your
let's do
HP.
an example. Let's say Kaido was trying to hit Gear Force Luffy, and he couldn't hit Gear Force Luffy. Like Luffy kept on dodging, and he finally gets an attack on Gear Force Luffy after like 30 minutes to an hour. He finally gets an attack on Gear Force Luffy, and then Luffy goes down after that attack. Would you put it at the same level as what actually happened in the manga? Would you put that?
No. That's of a lesser level, but that's still a one shot because it just depends on what you're talking about, right? So if you're talking about how Dofi kicked
like,
Luffy,
you really
right?
leave the battle saying, "Yo, Kaido one shot Luffy," yo. Like,
Bellamy. It depends how it.
Look at Bellamy.
Right.
Remember Bellamy when Luffy just put his punch? He just put his hand up and then, bow, one shot. If Luffy threw that punch and missed, and then tried to punch Bellamy again and then hit him, like, let's be honest,
that's being too strict. I feel like okay, look, because remember when Dofi kicked Luffy and Gear Forth, but it didn't work because his whole body was rubber, and his Haki or whatever happened. That one kick just didn't work. But if Dofi wrapped string around his fist and punched Luffy and that knocked him out, it would be like, okay, that first hit didn't really connect, but I would think that that's a one shot. But it depends how you look at it, though, right? Because if it's boxing, right?
Because remember what Kaido said to Luffy on the Onigashima when Kaido tried to do the exact same attack he did, that one shot of Gear Force Luffy tries to do on base Luffy, and Luffy uses Future Sight and still gets hit a little bit by it, but he's able to dodge it. And Kaido says, "Good, you learned you kind of learned your lesson from the last attack." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even Kaido one shot in Gear Force Luffy, low key, that was more so Luffy learned his lesson, and Luffy would have still got
But that wasn't even fair.
Luffy would have got one shotted. Luffy would have got one shotted if he did the exact same thing he did in the beginning of Wano. If he actually just tried to tank it,
but that
wasn't one shotted. You know?
That wasn't really fair because at the same time, I forgot what Luffy distraction was. But Luffy, I think he felt like he lost his crew or something happened, and he was like enraged, and he wasn't in the right headspace.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even that one shot, there is some asterisks. Like Luffy wasn't really fighting like in the how he usually fights. Like he was fighting out of character in that battle. So I feel like
if he was more cool, calm, and collective, he would have still lost. But I don't think he would have got one shot.
I honestly believe. How to say this, yo?
I feel like if Katakuri did that,
I feel like yes. Like you could view those as one shots, but I feel like Oda is really highlighting the true one shots, the true to its core.
Right, like Shanks,
Bellamy,
Shanks and Kid,
Shanks Kid. Like Oda is actually highlighting it, and look at that. Blackbeard didn't one shot Law. Like as is,
right. Yeah, like that wasn't a one shot.
I think Oda does it on purpose. Oda intentionally wants certain characters to get one shot. Like he certainly
right, but the problem still is whether we call it a one shot or not. People can legitly say that Zoro is doing techniques, but I get it. He has a sword, so that kind of justifies it. And his sword could cut through anything. And it's not like he's killing the people, but Zoro's still able to deal one blow and just take all the King's HP away, take all of Rob Lucci's HP away. If he fights Kizaru, he could probably do the same thing to Kizaru. He could probably do the same thing to Shanks. It just depends if Oda's gonna write it so that he can beat these characters or not. And it seems like all of Zoro's opponents, he's just one move, and I get it. Most times it's Ashura, it's something hacks and broken. It was impressive that he didn't seem to do nothing too crazy versus Rob Lucci, but he's usually taken. But it's almost like what Luffy tried to do to Dofi when he did the King Kong gun.
But I feel like that's why I feel like that's why I think that's what Oda's trying to show us. Is I think Oda through one shots is trying to show us that the Yonkos are just different. Like Shanks, Eustass Kid, Zoro doing his Ashura, and Kaido not even falling. Like that really disappointed Zoro during the beginning of that arc. The beginning of Onigashima raid when Zoro does Ashura, conquers Aki coding, scars him permanently. Yeah, it was cool, but isn't able to knock him to the ground. Right. Zoro is disappointed. And Oda's trying to show us that like these Yonkos, they don't get one shotted. Like we will never see a Yonko get one shotted in the One Piece story.
Right. Because
how can they get one shotted?
It doesn't make but here's the thing, right? Unless because it depends, right? I feel like it's only one character, or it's only two characters who can potentially one shot a Yonko, and that would be Emo if Oda wants to make it that, or Dragon if Oda wants to make it that.
Yeah, Oda. Okay, you're right. Oda does have the possibility of making Imu be able to one shot a Yonko, or making Dragon able to one shot a Yonko. But
Blackbeard is already a Yonko.
Yeah, but okay,
Blackbeard is already a Yonko, so he can't be used.
Yeah, but I'll say this
to one shot another Yonko.
If Oda does make Dragon or Imu able to one shot a Yonko, now you're really taking the power scaling to another level, because now there's a beyond Yonko level, and who's beyond
right.
Who's beyond Yonko level?
But here's the thing.
Are we gonna look at Roxy?
I think the way that the story is.
Are we gonna look at Roxy Zebek?
Right?
Are we gonna look at Goldie Roger? Are we gonna look at Whitebeard in their prime? Because a lot of people already view Whitebeard and Roger in their prime above Yonko level. You know that, right? A lot of people already view that. You know?
Yeah. This is the thing. Yeah. So and I feel like Dark King Rayleigh is a stronger than average right hand man character. So he probably even he said that at this age, right, he can't beat Blackbeard, and makes sense, right? But he still pulled out way more Conqueror's Haki than Zoro did when he pulled out his sword versus Blackbeard. Like enough to like. So it seemed like he showed Blackbeard like, yo, I'm Yonko level. Don't play around. You better leave. And Blackbeard, not knowing that he couldn't really follow through on that threat, was like, you know what? With everything else I got to deal with, let me just leave. So I feel like he could, whether it would be mid diff 2 or high diff, I feel like he could beat Lucci, and he can high diff Kizaru. But like he said, he can't beat a Yonko, or maybe he could even mid diff Kizaru, but he would like lose mid diff to a Yonko or something like that.
Okay. Yo, how's my audio right now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, from my end, I can hear your audio and it's good. But I feel like that's the way that the story is going though, because like with Kid and Law both lost to Blackbeard and to Shanks. We saw that like Shanks seems to be more powerful in some ways because he just one-shotted Kid. And then Blackbeard didn't one-shot Law, but Blackbeard still beat Law. So it seemed like that was Oda showing us that, like, Blackbeard and Shanks is stronger than Big Mom and Kaido. Those were the two weakest Yonko. But it doesn't make sense for Imu, if that's going to be the final villain and not Blackbeard, to be weaker than a Yonko. Like whoever is stronger. I mean, whoever's the final villain does have to be stronger than a Yonko, whether that's Blackbeard being the strongest Yonko ever.
I will say this:
or Imu.
Sabo is a very respected fighter, and the guy who damaged Sabo was Imu. It wasn't the Gorosei. Like, Imu was the one who actually damaged Sabo during that moment.
Right. Sabo looked so good, especially like being able to escape the Gorosei.
And he felt that attack too. Like, that wasn't like no lowly attack. Like, he was on the verge. Like, he was in great pain after Imu attacked him. So there's definitely a lot of hype.
Yeah, and also Sabo was ready to fight Fuji, and unlike Kizaru saying he was going to go to Wano, Sabo actually tied with Fuji. I have a video on my channel breaking it down and explaining how that was a tie. But also he was even able to tell, and it makes sense because he got to train with Dragon, he got to train with Kuma, he got to train with Ivankov, and he's like, yo, why are you pulling your punches? I know Admirals are stronger than this. And that's when Fuji was like, you caught me, I've been holding back.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question: does Shanks one-shot Law?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
He just has to connect. Law is not the most defensive character, I feel like.
Okay, people have been saying, I want to hear your opinion on this, because when Shanks one-shot Eustass Kid, there was definitely a lot of shock in the fan base. Like, wow, like Eustass Kid just came off the Big Mom fight, 3 billion rare bounty, awakening, and right. And you get one-shotted. You get your ass sent packing, So my question is this: there's a theory going around that people think his railgun, his damn punk, is assisted in him getting one shot. There's a theory going on about that. Do you believe that, or do you think that Shanks just, with his true divine departure, just one-shotted him? The railgun wasn't affecting it. Like, what do you think?
No. I think that we got to keep in mind, like, even though it took longer, right? Zoro still one-shotted Lucci. I feel like Lucci's durability should be stronger than Kid's, with him being a Zoan and awakened Zoan and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things where it's like, no, Shanks is just so much stronger that with the attack connecting like that, like a direct attack, it just one-shotted him. Okay. I don't think no excuses should be made.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Oh, also in the chat, if anyone has more questions, in the chat, put it in the chat, guys. We'll actually answer some questions, guys, because if you guys came right now, you kind of did a main topic about Zoro and his power. Like I was asking Ty a lot of these questions to hear his opinion on it.
That's that thing that we talked about. And here's the thing, right? I get it that Law and Kid, they're not just right hand man level. I would say that like Law and Kid, they should be Rob Lucci level. But we seen that like the right hand man, they get one shotted by Yonko, and Luffy's a newer Yonko, so it makes sense why he didn't just one shot Lucci. Plus he wasn't that serious, but it makes sense that Shanks could still one shot a character like that.
Yeah, and also too, like Shanks. People just look at the Divine Departure. You have to look at the future side too, yo. His future side was the best future side we've seen in the entire series. Like how far he saw into the future. Like he's literally seeing Kid wipe out his entire Grand Fleet, and that should help you in like pretty much in a battle. Like imagine Blackbeard could see that deep into the future. Like then Blackbeard maybe he's
right, and this is right, and then that's probably one of his most powerful attacks. Like, oh no, my whole crew.
yeah, exactly. So definitely, you have to understand. But this is the thing. I didn't think Oda wanted people to like shit on Kid. I think Oda really just wanted people to appreciate Shanks' power. Like that's why he's showing future sight that deep into the future. That's why he's showing Divine Departure, a Roger named attack. Like he just wants us to appreciate Shanks before Shanks actually goes up against Blackbeard. So it's just that Kid.
Oh, so I didn't know that. So you saying that that's a move that Roger did before?
Divine Departure. Didn't Roger do it against Kuzuki Oden?
Oh, I didn't remember that, but that's cool that's a Roger.
Yeah, it's a Roger
attack. But I was gonna say though. So here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. They hyped Shanks' crew up. They said that his crew is full of legends. That's when they talked about like Ben Beckman, Yasopp, Lucky Roo. So here's the thing, right? It does look bad that he got one-shotted, but they hyped up Shanks' commanders that made it seem like even his third strongest is stronger than Kaido's first strongest, probably. So his third hand man is probably stronger than Big Mom's and Kaido's right hand man.
Yeah, they did have a narrative. You're right. They did have a narrative of like Ben Beckman, Yasopp, and Lucky Roo are different than other Yonko commanders. Like, they're
right, and then
for their power.
And then Oda said in the Vivri card that like I get it that Shanks is stronger, but he said that like kind of like the Luffy and Zoro debates. Like some people think Zoro could win. Some people think it's a tie. Some people think the gap isn't too big. Some people do think the gap is big, but most people kind of favor Zoro to be equal or closer to Luffy. So the data book said that Ben Beckman is the moon to Shanks' son, kind of portraying him really highly. So if Kid was, I get it that his future sight didn't happen, but it could have happened. But if Kid was able to somehow take out the rest of Shanks' crew, that shows how powerful he is. It's just that he's not on the Yonko captain level.
Okay, wait. How to say this? Do you think that Kid is gonna come back and do some good things, or is he done? Is his story done?
No. He's definitely gonna do some good things because that's not a. So here's the thing. That's okay. Imagine. Okay, the headline was Shanks one-shotted Kid, right? But if Shanks wasn't there, the headlines would have easily been based off of that flashback. Like I haven't saw those panels really like that. Like I saw the panel of Kid getting one-shotted, but I don't think I saw the full fight. So I wasn't aware of him destroying Shanks' crew. But if Shanks wasn't there, and if he was capable of beating, Ben Beckman, Yucky Roo, Yasopp, that's still a big deal. But it makes sense because he's like somewhere midway between a right hand and a Yonko, where I guess for whatever reason, the rest of his characters is still like right hand man levels. That's the thing. So like Ben Beckman, right? He should be equal, if not stronger. But so was Ben Beckman there? Or Ben Beckman wasn't there when Shanks saw the flashback. I mean the future sight.
Yeah, Ben Beckman commented and said, "Oh, it looks like you saw a very bad future."
But so this is the thing. So
Ben Beckman knew that Shanks saw the future before Shanks attacked. Like he noticed.
Right, so it kind of like hyped Shanks up, but kind of downplayed his crew, but kind of upplayed.
Kid. Also, Lucky Roo wanted to fight Kid, but Shanks stopped him.
Okay, but did he just see Kid losing to Lucky Roo, or he saw? Okay, no, wait. Did he just saw Lucky Roo losing to Kid, or he saw Lucky
No, no,
Roo,
no, no,
Yasop?
no, no, no. He didn't. Okay, my bad. Let me explain this better because I forgot you're not like you didn't really see it. When Kid is wiping out Shanks's fleet, it's not his main crew. It's his grand fleet. So it's like Bartolomeo level type characters like Hajirun and like it's his fleet. Kid never touched any of the main crew members.
Okay. So then, yeah. So then that's
Because
bad and that's
Shanks, when you,
unfortunate.
because the thing is, this is how let me explain. So Kid pulls up an Elbaf before he can actually see a Yonko. He has to go deal with the fleet, the Grand Fleet. So Kid says, okay, Shanks' Grand Fleet is actually known for being the weakest, like they're very weak. Shanks just takes them on because he wants to protect them. So Kid automatically does his strongest attack, Damn Punk, the one that pretty much defeated Big Mom with the help of the explosion. He goes straight off with that, and he destroys the entire Grand Fleet. This is Shanks' future. But none of the main crew are destroyed, just the Grand Fleet members. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, so that's bad. I thought you were
Yeah, and then
saying.
Lucky Roo told Shanks, "Hey, I want to go. Hey, don't worry, sit this one out. I'm gonna go fight him." Because we find out that Ben Beckman is the one that defeated Kid the first time. He took off his arm.
The
So
first time, right?
yeah, so then Lucky Roo says, "Yo, let me handle this one," and Shanks says, "Nah, this guy just beat Big Mom. He has a 3 billion berry bounty. Like, respect him. Like, relax, you know." Kind of Lucky Roo's kind of shitting on Kid, and Shanks tells him to respect Kid, and then Shanks just goes on to shit on Kid. So that's how it happened. Yeah.
Okay, so then like that's bad because we can't even say that. Okay, maybe we could say he would have mid diff Lucky Roo.
Yeah.
um, because I don't. Or maybe he would have high diffed him. I don't.
It looks like Lucky Roo. It looks like Lucky Roo, Yasop, and Ben Beckman are like they're really strong. It looks like they're not like regular Young Commanders. Like they. It looks like they all each believe they could defeat Katakuri if they're in a fight. You know.
Right.
Yeah. So,
But Kid is higher than that because he beat
yeah.
Big Mom. But
Yeah.
if we can't even take that, well, if the best we could take is that he would high diff Lucky Roo, but Sings doesn't even like that, then it's a bad look. But if it would have been that he saw Lucky Roo get beat, Yasop get beat, Ben Beckman get beat, that would be more hype for Kid. But since we only saw him, take out some weaklings, and it's like we can't say much. But just that, he needs to. So he didn't learn his lesson, as in this is the second time you're messing with that crew. First time they took off your arm, you're lucky they didn't kill you this time. It's
also, I
you
forgot to mention.
need to give it up.
I forgot to mention Killer got one shot too. Like when Shanks one shots Kid, Killer tries to help him and one shots him.
Yeah.
So it's not just Kid that gets one shot. A Killer gets a straight bullet too as well.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Kid fan. Everybody knows that, right? It's a bad look. I'm not gonna lie. When Shanks one shot a Kid, it was a bad look. But the thing is, Oda did not just make it like a clear cut one shot. Oda did give kids some, he gave Kid fans some excuse. It's not really good excuses, but you control what those excuses. Like you could be like, oh, Kid got the railgun exploded in his face, or you could say, oh, Shanks saw the future sight, and that's what A was able to get a clean shot off Kid. Like, Kid was actually surprised.
If it even took out Killer, that's just a very broken attack. And then if Roger really used it,
yeah, it's pirate king level attack.
Even though he's a Yonko, right? That's like trying to say he did a Pirate King level attack. You know what
Oda,
I mean?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. It looks like Oda is trying to tell us that Shanks is not Yonko level. Shanks is actually Pirate King level. Like, that's what it looks like Oda's trying to show us. And it looks like he's trying to build up Blackbeard and Shanks to be above Yonko level. That's what it looks like, From my
right. And another thing to keep in mind, right? If we go to Naruto, right? Yeah. We have the Chunin and the Jonin, right?
Yeah.
But if you at some point in the story, you might think, oh, okay, all of these Jonins, they're around this strong. But if you pay attention to the story longer, you'll see okay, Kakashi and Might Guy, those are not your average Jonin. Those are they could be Hokage, even though they're Jonin. So I feel like that comes into play with Shanks, possibly Blackbeard too, is that, they are Yonko, but they're probably stronger than that. Especially
so the range of Yonko level is they're higher end Yonko level. And you know what I'm saying? A different they're not really above Yonko level, they're just the top of Yonko level. They're the strongest Yonkos. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I'm trying to say that they would be above it, because keep in mind, right? Blackbeard, if I'm following what happened correctly, Blackbeard without a devil fruit was able to scar Shanks and had Shanks so worried. That's why Shanks didn't want Ace to fight Blackbeard, because he felt like Blackbeard was too strong even then.
Yeah, and we kind of got confirmed that like when Blackbeard almost broke Ace's neck during the fight, like even Ace was shocked, like, yo, this guy almost broke my neck. You know, so like Blackbeard
Right. Yeah, they right. They hyped him up outside
Yeah.
of his double fruit.
Yeah.
But I think what we've been seeing is Blackbeard getting the hang of his double fruit ability, like his new powers. Not what Blackbeard could do in a serious fight without his double fruit. Because even with Law, not like he was trolling versus Law, but it seems like okay, because like when we saw him fight the surfer room thing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like for whatever reason we see Blackbeard on screen struggle so much. You know what I mean? Like that surfer room thing had him. And I get it, it's Mihawk, but it's like still, it's like he'll struggle so much on screen with Ace, with the Sephiroth, even with Law to some extent, right? But everything you heard of him off screen, he's a monster. Kind of like what happened in this war. So I feel like Oda is hiding a lot of what he could really do, and we kind of see like the trolley practice in Blackbeard.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, I'll be honest with you. At the end of the day, I feel like Oda is building up some big things with like Blackbeard, Shanks. Like we're about to see some crazy stuff with them. And yeah, there's another question right here. It says right here, if Zoro is Admiral level, is Zoro versus Luffy still low diff? And it says I think so because of what Luffy just did to Kizaru in Saturn 2v1. They really need another top tier to deal with Luffy. Top 5 top tiers to deal with Luffy. So the question is if Zoro's Admiral level, is Zoro's Luffy still low diff? What are your thoughts? This is from Iroh.
No. So Zoro versus Luffy, I would say like it would be mid diff. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that Zoro is Admiral level. I think he's at a place where he could close the gap, because I feel like when he fought King, it was a gap, but he closed it. I feel like when he fought, I don't think it was a gap with Lucci. He just needed the right opening moment. But like when Sanji fought Clean, it was a gap, but he closed it. So I feel like, you know, like when Luffy fought Katakuri, it was a gap, but he closed it. I feel like the gap is so small right now between where he is and the Admiral that he could overcome it in a fight, and then after that fight, he would be Admiral level. Not that he's exactly Admiral level right now. So for the most part, this is not like, okay, he's Admiral level, they going back and forth, blow for blow, Zoro wins. It's like, no, if Zoro fights Kizaru, he should dominate the majority of the first half of the fight, and then maybe Zoro finds a way to come back the second half of the fight.
Okay, so do you think Zoro versus Luffy's a low diff?
Mid diff.
Mid diff. Okay, I respect it. Okay, I want to talk about something first. I'm gonna stop with the questions for a bit right now. I want to say, guys, there's actually been new news that dropped today that One Piece will be going on break for 3 weeks after the next chapter. So, how do I say this? We're going to have a break of 3 weeks. Now, I'm noticing that like this is happening every year now. I think each Oda is purposely doing like 1 month breaks every year now to help his health when it comes to completing One Piece. It is the final saga. And, of course, recently we saw Akira Toriyama, rest in peace, that whole situation there. Really, really sad news. But yeah, we have a 3 week break after chapter 1111. We're gonna have a 3 week break, and then we're gonna come back with another 2 more chapters. Then there's Golden Week break. So I think in 6 weeks there's gonna be like maybe 2 or 3 chapters. So not a lot of chapters gonna be coming up for the next couple of months. Hey Ty, this is a good time for you to catch up, bro. This is a perfect timing, all these breaks.
Right. Yeah, I'm probably gonna catch up soon, since like I just don't know the details, like how I didn't know the details of the Shanks versus Kid fight, but I know that the fight happened.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on these breaks? Like these, Oda's been doing it every year now, like these 1 month breaks. What are your thoughts? And there's always been a crazy chapter when he does it, though. There's always a crazy chapter.
Right. Well, since these is, for his health and stuff like that, to help him, because one of the things that I admire about him a lot, he seems like the hardest working person ever, or like he's up there in the top hardest working people. Because I heard something before that like he sleeps for like 3 hours a day, and that's it. Besides, then he's mostly working on his manga in different types of ways, whether that's like movies, the next chapters that come out, him just writing the story, or him doing different things. Even if it's him testing the One Piece card game to make sure he really likes it. Like I haven't played it, but I heard that it's fun. But Oda plays it a lot. I heard, and like he invited I think somebody from the One Piece Netflix show over to play cards with him. It was the Zoro actor, I believe. They said Oda invited him over and they play cards, the One Piece card game. Mm-hmm. So he's, you know, I would like to just get a chapter every week, but I do rather, you know, like him getting his break, his health staying better, and we get more years of One Piece or like a spinoff versus, you know, we just burn him out and, you know, we get the chapters every week, but then he ends up, you know, getting ill or something like that.
Well, Ty, I will say this, like he started doing this in like the end of Wano, right? When Ando ended, he started doing this, and Egghead Island has been insane. Like it's probably like when it comes to, if Egghead Island was a lot of people don't look at Egghead Island as a legit arc, like look at like kind of like Jaya or Zoe, but honestly, Egghead Island is looking like, when it comes to content, it's looking like the best arc in One Piece. And Wano's my favorite arc, but it's looking like the best arc in One Piece.
Right.
And I do want to say this, Oda's quality, people are saying it's gotten better since he's been doing these 1 month breaks every year. So that's always a good thing if people are recognizing.
Well, another part of it is, I think it was when Zoe started, Oda got like a new editor or a new something. I forgot what the person is called, but it's one of those people that they supposed to like, you know, review your content or whatever and make it better. And at that same time, I feel like is when the quality started getting better too, because I guess it helped him get to his point faster. Something that he struggled with, especially like Andres Rosa. Yeah. So I think that has something to do with it too. Whatever that new person is he worked with, and you know, One Piece is such a popular, famous thing that it's not going to be like no average Joe person doing it. It was probably some kind of top notch person.
Yeah.
That, you know, came and really affected things and helped. I saw on Twitter or on X, somebody said that they can't believe all 5 Gorosei is really on Egghead. Like, oh snap! But I said that, you know, I can believe it as like, you know, from what we're being told, as long as they're not lying to us, One Piece is going to be over soon. The final saga is almost soon, and we just don't have the time to deal with these Gorosei individually, one by one, each and every arc, when an arc could take like, you know, 1 or 2 years sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of like Oda has these like Blackbeard, Akainu, like Emu, like
right
characters already planned, you know.
Like we're not even and this is the thing too, right? We couldn't even, and I get why the Shichibukai was gone, because right, it's like we couldn't even beat all the Shichibukai, right? We still didn't beat all the Yonko, and only 2 of them fell, but the other one that fell, our support characters beat. It's not like Luffy beat him. So it's like the story we just, and I feel like that the story, while it is about becoming the Pirate King, I don't feel like it's about beating every Yonko, and I don't feel like it's about beating every Gorosei. So I feel like, you know, it makes sense of where it's like, you know, even if that wasn't Oda's plan and that was more so his editors or something like that, like, yo, bring all the Gorosei to Egghead. You know, like, whatever's gonna happen, let's amp it up, or let's shut it down and let's move on to the next thing, because we don't have, like, if One Piece had more time, I could see it. Like if we had another 1,000 chapters, I could see every Gorosei getting their own arc, every Yonko continuing to get their own arc. But it seems like, you know,
and people have to understand, Oda has a lot of these future plot lines to finish, but Oda's been planning Void Century since the beginning of One Piece. Willa D since the beginning of One Piece. Like, he's gonna try to make like that flashback insane. So these breaks are always good for him to prepare to actually reveal that stuff. And people have to understand, we still have to go to Elbaf. And after Elbaf, we still have to go to Laugh Tale and see the One Piece treasure and all that Joy Boy, Sanganika stuff that's going on. And then, like, there's so many extra things Oda can do with Doflamingo and Pull Down, with NL, and of course the Moon. Like, I'm telling you right now, there's so many different things Oda can do. And Oda has these main things that he has to get out the way. So these breaks, I feel like, are good because probably, let's be honest, he's been doing this manga for over 2 decades. So if it's and hopefully fresh, it's a good thing.
Right, and hopefully it finishes strong. Like it's good to see the Gorosei all there because I feel like one or two things could happen. First is that even if you don't think that one Gorosei is stronger than a Yonko, I mean, all five of them, I think definitely is. And then this is one of the points that I made before was when they was talking to Akainu like he was trash, like all disrespectful to him and stuff like that. I got the vibes back then that like they're talking to him like if he gets out of line, they could beat him. If not in a 1v1 and a 5v1. And now we see how strong they are. And it's like because if that wasn't the case, it was giving me vibes that they have somebody that like, okay, maybe you could kill the Gorosei, right? But then somebody, right, whether that's Emo or somebody else, they're gonna come and they're gonna kill you after, so it's not worth it. Like you gotta listen to these people. And it's not just because they're a higher rank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but all five of them, it definitely raised the stakes. So it's like I could feel the danger now being more intense than Wano is.
Yes, 100%. When especially when you see these summoning circles come out of nowhere, like
Right. Even though that was two Yonko,
yeah,
it's like nah, five Gorosei,
yeah,
Rob Lucci, and Kizaru. Like, come on, we're in a Buster Call. Like,
yeah.
it's like we're in way more trouble
And
now.
this brings up the possibility of now they don't even have to move together, yo. They can actually move separately and all join up like together. Like so let's say example, one of the Gorseis makes it to Laftel. He can just teleport all the other Gorseis to Laftel, and now it's a whole like party going on there with Imbu, and they can teleport. I don't think they can just teleport the Gorsei. I think Imbu can be teleported as well. That's
right.
too. So definitely want to say Oda has some big things he has to get on the way. So these breaks are always like I'm thinking.
Oh, but if
I'm
the
sad. Obviously, I'm
Gorosei,
sad. I'm sad. There's a 3-week break, but these breaks are good for like his health. Honestly, that's all that matters.
right?
Look
If the
at Hunter.
Gorosei,
Look at Hunter x Hunter. Do you want a Hunter x Hunter situation, guys? Do you want a
nah.
Hunter?
Like if the Gorosei don't get defeated here, I think the Orochimaru thing might happen. Where like he showed up to destroy the third Hokage, right? But Orochimaru wasn't defeated. He was shown, and it's like some characters they're too strong to be defeated, kind of like Itachi, right? Like when he was first introduced. So you see them, they get their sign, and you fight them later on. So either the Gorosei they're gonna all fall here, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like we got the manpower for that. So this is probably just their introduction. They get to look good, like the one that you said, the Horseman guy. Yeah. But then later, those are like the Straw Hats. Some of their final opponents or something like that, in one of the final arcs. But depending on what happens,
I could see Luffy and Zoro and Sanji fighting like 3 of the Gorosei. Or what's funny? I could see Luffy fighting Imu, and while Luffy's fighting Imu, Zoro, Sanji, and other characters like fighting the Gore like. Other characters could fight, like Sabo, Kobe could even get involved. Like, there's so many candidates that can actually fight the Gorosei while Luffy's distracting Imu. So, definitely want to say, yeah, there's a lot of things Oda can go with if he wants to. Like, he has so many different directions he can go.
And if we are really low on time, even though this might be the carnier way to do it, but it's a quicker way to do it. If we go to Laftel, and that's supposed to be Shanks' territory, right?
Yeah.
That could all be like, hey, nice to see you. Give me my hat back. Like all good times, they drink. Yeah. Luffy, you could have this poneglyph, whatever. Like they don't spend too much time there. Like it turns into like a zoo.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we just move on to the
real quick. Just get in, get out of there.
Right. Because what could happen, and I would prefer this. One of my earlier theories, it was called like what if Shanks is evil or whatever. But this is the thing. This is less likely because we saw Kid go there, right, and everything was fine. Kid was trying to pick on them.
Yeah.
But I was always saying like what if when we get to Shanks' territory, it's all of this evil stuff going on, and then they realize like it's the people they're like prisoners and stuff like that, and they like. Yeah, this territory is controlled by Yonko Shanks, and Luffy don't gotta be like, what?
That
like
would be
Shanks
a crazy plot twist. My ankles would be broken, yo. Shout out to AI. But yo, I'm gonna say this to you. There's one more question that's in the chat, yo. It says Zoro versus Sabo, yo. What are your answers on that?
Let me see. Sabo, his feats just seem like too high right now. I think he mid dips Zoro, especially since he can like fight him from a distance. And if not mid diff, I would say high diff. But I'm leaning more so mid diff because he was supposed to be it depends what everybody think is happening, right? So we know that Ace was stronger than Luffy when Luffy was alive, right?
Yeah.
So if Ace was still alive, does Luffy just pass him, or would Ace still be equal to Luffy or stronger than Luffy? It would make more
I
sense
think Ace would
if he's
progress in those 2 years. He would get stronger still in those 2 years. You know?
right. So he would somehow be equal
Because
to Luffy or
Ace was trying to
stronger.
fight. Ace was trying to fight Kaido. That's the crazy part. Like Ace is
Right.
actually like if Ace, imagine Ace actually did fight Kaido. Like and you saw what happened when Luffy tried to fight Kaido. Like how powerful he got since then. You know, so
Right.
yeah,
So with Sabo and Ace was supposed to be on the same level, and Sabo didn't even have a devil fruit, but he was very strong with his Haki and stuff like that. I feel like he should be considered the same thing. He should be considered at the lowest equal to Luffy, and at the highest a little bit stronger than Luffy right now. So I think he made this Zoro easy.
Sabo has a lot of things going for him. Like the fact that without his devil ability, he had the most advanced armor Haki. Like the one that Luffy uses to take off Yamato's shackles. So, or really used it to
right,
take
like not even using his his flame fruit. He probably high dip Zoro.
His Haki is really good. I'm not gonna lie, Sabo's Haki is really good. And then I thought it was very interesting that Oda had Sabo interact with Imu and the Gorosei, and had, of course, Karuso and Morley interact with the Admirals. I thought that was very interesting because we all thought Sabo was gonna fight the Admiral. So is Oda saying Sabo is for bigger things? Is that the reason they're going there? And then, of course, you have to look at it as like he has the Memory no Mi. He's obviously going to get stronger there if he awakens it. So,
Zoro goals is pretty good, but Sabo, it seems like it depends what they have him do, but like if he wants to get revenge for Ace, that's fighting Blackbeard or Akainu. Yeah.
Akainu is like a monster. So if Sabo fights Akainu and wins, because Akainu talks shit about the Memory no Mi, he's like, yo, my fruit's better. So if Sabo's able to win with the Memory no Mi, and of course we all know that Akainu doesn't like dragon, and Sabo's of course under dragon. And you know what's funny? Sabo fights in that dragon style, the dragon claw style. So
right, and this is the thing. Like I don't think Zoro ever gets to beat Akainu unless it's in the series and he's just shown or he's proven himself to be stronger than that. But with Sabo, he potentially might be able to beat him if that's going to be his final opponent.
The only thing, okay, I'll say this right now. The only thing that I'm gonna be honest with you, Zoro does have some things going for him. Like the Conqueror Saki Cody thing, that is a factor. I have to mention it, you know? It's like Oda didn't just put that for a reason. And Zoro, I'm not gonna lie to you, his durability is pretty insane. I won't lie to you. So, like, it's hard for me to even imagine someone low diffing Zoro. Like it's very hard for me to imagine, like, because
no. I'm not talking about low diff, but I think like Akainu and Sabo, they could mid diff him, and we even saw
that's the scary part. The scary part is if Zoro's able to like withstand the fight, if he's able to prolong the fight, he could get a power up throughout that fight. Like Rayleigh said, in extreme battles, your Haki blooms. So I'm not like Zoro's the number one candidate to get stronger in a battle. Like you've literally seen it.
Right, but even with Ace having firepower, Akainu.
And Zoro does know how to cut fire. Zoro does know how to cut fire too. So that would help in the Sabo battle too, you know?
Right. Okay, so that would help versus Sabo, but with Akainu, I don't see what's stopping him from just punching a hole through Zoro's chest. And then with Sabo, it's like, okay, maybe no Haki, right? You could cut my flames, but what about when he puts, Haki coating on the flames? And then what we still don't know, what if Sabo has the Conqueror's coating?
Yes, there is that. I'm not lying to you. Low key, if Sabo has Conqueror's coding, then I would put Sabo above Zoro. Right now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really power scale Sabo right now because I haven't really. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't seen him fight anybody like seriously. Like he was.
I think he has
he was fighting with Fujitora, but like let's be honest here,
has been pretty. The fights that he has so far have been pretty good for him. And then he does have a strong will. Like he said that he doesn't, okay, like look what he said that he doesn't care. If anything happens to Luffy, he doesn't care what mission he's on for Dragon or nothing like that. He's going to help Luffy if Dragon's okay with that or not.
He hasn't really like, okay, I'll say this. He hasn't really beaten anybody that's like legit. Like, yeah, he beat Jesus Burgess, but Jesus Burgess got stronger after he beat him. He actually got a new devil.
Right.
So I'm not lying to you. Sabo hasn't really.
He still survives Emu in the Gorosei thing.
He's surviving Emu's attack, and I'll be honest with you, Sabo has a lot of like Haki cool things too that he's shown and his devil ability. But the thing is, we still haven't seen him fight a serious fight yet. I think Oda's saving him
Right.
for a reason. That's a good thing. If we haven't seen him fight yet, seriously.
Right. And
So
another thing is
that's a
that
good thing.
even him trying to rescue Kuma, that's something that he did on his own. But I'm trying to count like how you need that will to like, like unlock or awaken in the King's Haki or the Conqueror's Haki. So I feel like he has the personality of it, where he's not just like he's not a Kizaru, or he's not one of those commanders where just because Dragon tells him to do this, he's gonna go do it. He's
I'll say
doing his own thing.
I'll say this. There's certain characters that Oda has been very like vague with, like when it comes to interacting with each other. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, Eustass Kid, Law, Zoro, Sabo, and Sanji. Like these 5 characters, like Oda really hasn't made it like clear cut who's above who yet. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Oda's gonna do that final saga. Like yes, there's some chess pieces falling, like Kid, of course, with the recent Shanks stuff. But the thing is, Kid can easily come back in Elbaf and like do something crazy. And now we're all fans of Kid again. Like I'll be honest with you. And Law got one of the greatest improvements against Blackbeard when he was able to showcase his Haki got stronger and he has his awakening. So like Law has a lot of things going for him. So I think right now, I'll be honest with you, Sabo and Zoro look to be the top 2 out of those 5 I just mentioned. And then I would probably put like Law and Sanji there too as well. Kid probably is last right now because of he hasn't really shown us anything, but Kid could easily become number 1 if he just shows us something in the next arc. That's all he has to do. If he just shows us something.
Right. So from what I see from those characters, I think Sabo should be equal to Luffy, stronger than him, either one or the other. And you can't say that about anybody else that you named. So to me, Sabo's looking the best.
Sabo does have portrayal with Luffy. Like he does have portrayal with Luffy, but
and also Dragon's not a Yonko crew. He's attacking the government directly. So it would make sense if Sabo is way stronger than a right hand man like that.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day though, it's like Zoro, Law, Sanji, and Kid have so much more material than Sabo that it's so unfair. Like I want to see Sabo do something before I actually put him like up against those guys. Like I'll be honest with you, like yeah, he has things, but he hasn't. I'm gonna be honest, he hasn't. Right, but he hasn't gone out. He hasn't gone out. This is like Sabo hasn't gone out.
This is like look how strong Sasuke is, right?
Yeah.
And even when Itachi died, he was still stronger than Sasuke if he wanted to beat him. Yeah. So it's like he gets that older brother tax of like, he's just like, I get it. We don't get to follow him and we don't get to power scale him where he's at. But it's like, if Luffy could do it with his trash gum fruit, even though it got better and it's the Nika, it's like Sabo can most likely do it too.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, Sabo has a lot going for him. Like, I'm gonna be honest, he's one of those characters where he has a lot going for him, but I just personally, it's like we're in the final saga. Like even like I'm gonna be honest, even Dragon. Like I have the same.
You ever played Mega Man before?
Dragon. Let's be honest here. A lot of people think Dragon is top 5 in the story, right?
Right.
He hasn't done shit to gain that title of top 5. We just do it because we're just assuming that he's Oda's the most wanted man, Luffy's father, Garp's son, former Marine.
Yeah, but the way that mangas and stuff like that work, right? Just because somebody isn't improving it doesn't mean they don't have that spot, because it's like part of it is and with One Piece this is being more and more of the case. Yeah. Imagine how much we would have bugged out if we saw Shanks do divine departure like that at Marineford. So it's like
if Shanks did divine departure at Marineford, he would have been number 1 for like years.
Right. So if it's a high profile character and we're not seeing much of them, it's likely because
there's some big things that he's hiding. Yeah, obviously.
Right. That would get revealed that he doesn't want.
That's what I'm saying. Sabo has something. The fact that he hasn't even shown Sabo like that and that in depth, Sabo even has something going for him as well, like that. So I'm just saying that what it is. Right. I'll say this right now. People think. Even the One Piece community, like back in like 2016, 2017, like a lot of the power scaling after Dressrosa, people had fun guessing. Like people have fun guess power scaling. Like we're guessing, like okay, this guy could be strong in this, but this looking at this clash and looking at this clash. I have more fun when I see like after Wano, power scaling became more fun for me. I'm gonna be honest with you because
right. It's definitely so fun getting to see.
We have so much evidence now,
over having it's better to see stuff over the clashes or over just trying
Yeah,
to
for
wonder.
me,
So
it's
this
more
isn't
funner.
exactly the same thing, but
It's
you
more
saw the
funner.
first season of Power Rangers,
That's why people love power scaling Naruto. You see it? People love power scaling
right?
Naruto because the series is finished. Like it's just funner. Like
Right,
okay,
right, right, right,
there's
right.
no question marks.
And with Naruto, the Naruto fights they started and finished, and even if it was a clash, it was still clearer who's
Yeah,
stronger. I felt like it wasn't as much confusion as One Piece because
like Sasuke
Oda
versus
makes
Killer
these
B.
fights
Sasuke
so
versus Killer B.
debatable. Like,
Like you could be like, yo, Sasuke's so strong. Sasuke's so powerful. I don't know where someone come out of nowhere like, yo, Sasuke Killer B. And now it's like, oh man, like you know what I'm saying? Like people actually have like it makes it funner, you know, when people like now you gotta defend yourself, like defend your take and everything like that. Like so I'm telling you right now, we're getting more of that though. Like Luffy,
right,
Kaido,
but
Big Mom.
I felt
I'll say this right now. Luffy, Kaido, Big Mom, Blackbeard and Shanks recently, like Garp and Aokiji. But there's still some characters we need
right,
to see.
right,
Like
right, right, right.
Akainu, Dragon. I feel like we still got more to see with them. Sabo, Emu. I think those like there's a lot of characters that still we need to see something of them, you know. But that's the fun thing about One Piece. Yo. There's the curiosity, but there's also I like seeing fights. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just love seeing fights. I'm gonna keep it
Right.
real.
With Naruto, I feel like is clearer who's stronger though. So it depends at what Sasuke you're talking about, but for the most part, from what we saw, Killer B would be stronger than Sasuke. So you could either admit it or you could just try to be a good debater and try to debate
Yeah,
how
yeah.
he's not.
And that's the fun thing about debates. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the funnest thing about debates is when someone's pointing an argument and out of nowhere you just bring out a new evidence that they didn't see coming. You know. But like how to say
Right, but
One
with
Piece is getting One Piece
One
is getting that. You
Piece,
know what's crazy though? One Piece is getting that. After Wano and Egghead Island, One Piece has been showing more fights. Like it's actually we're getting
right, but
more
with One
fights.
Piece, it's not as clear as like, okay, so who's stronger? Sabo or Ben Beckman? It's like
Yeah, we
we're
didn't
left in
see
more
shit.
mystery.
Yeah, we didn't see shit.
Even if we want to say like the data books came or it was cars, they said that Vista's on par with Mihawk. A lot of people didn't want to give Vista that credit, and it
Yeah.
seemed like, but I always scaled them kind of equal from what I saw. And it's like now that came out, so now like when we see Mihawk do something, it's like can Vista do that same thing, or what do people think? So One Piece power scaling is a bit more trickier. Did you see the first season of Power Rangers? I was asking you before.
Uh, Power Rangers is very. Like, I watch Power Rangers, but like I don't know the difference in seasons and stuff.
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta check.
So the first season of Power Rangers, right? It the evil bad guy was that queen. Her name was like Rita or something like that. But then she had her husband or whatever. The guy, his name was something with a Z. He was the red guy, uh, with the silver on him. And then it was the gold guy, and then it was another guy like a gray guy, but those are pretty much the most powerfulest people in that universe, and the other monsters that they fought every other episode was kind of the other people. But what I was trying to say though is that her husband, right, like he's not throwing the hands every episode, but like come on, that's her husband, like you know he's powerful. So I feel like that's kind of like what's happening with Dragon, to where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're not seeing him do stuff, but given his position
yeah.
in the game, he's the most wanted man in the
No,
world. He's that powerful.
Monkey D.
Or
Dragon is one of my favorite
if
characters. I think I actually generally believe Monkey D. Dragon is like how to say this, yo. Like when we see him fight, he's gonna be Yonko level or above. Like I actually have a lot of hype for Dragon, but
right.
I will say this: it's just I just want to see. You know, as a fan, I'm craving it. I just want to see him fight. But
Right.
yeah, all in all, it's just like
I just try to like, okay, so
mhm,
if Shanks could divine departure one shot kid, right?
mhm.
I'd be like, yo, you know what? Dragon could do that too. Like
Yeah, okay, exactly.
it's like
But
we gotta scale him based off what
others, based on others,
right.
yeah,
Um what I was gonna say, okay, so like in Pokemon first gen, right? The Elite Four champion. Okay, well, here's the thing, right? If we use Pokemon, right? Not just the champion Lance, right? But all four of the Elite Four, right?
okay,
You don't see them do anything in that game until you fight them. But of course, they're more stronger than the gym leaders, like the story's trying to
yeah,
hint at. So
yeah,
I feel like it's one of those things with Dragon where like we're not gonna see him do something until we see him do something. But at that point, see, this is the thing. The Admirals was unfortunately overhyped, right? So now they're looking whack because it's like they can't live up to what the fans got up to. But I feel like Dragon, he's the opposite of where like Oda hyped him up legitly, and we're gonna see a legit display of his power
yeah.
when it is time.
I'll tell you right now, I'm a Dragon fan, so I hope so. We got a question here right now. Yo, Mac, the Gorosei versus Ryuma. Do you think it happened when the world government wanted to annex Wano and Ryuma stopped them? Uh, when it comes to Ryuma, I do think that obviously people tried to enter Wano, and I think he did stop them. Like there's a whole story about Ryuma cutting the dragon. So how to say that's probably a mythical zone user that had Kaido's fruit that probably tried to pull up on Wano.
Right.
But I'll say this though, at the end of the day, I feel like Venus Juro is gonna bring a lot of Wano like folklore to hype because he has the same. He's a Wano style name, so he could be a Wano representative of. Like you know how just Rosa like was Celestial Dragons and then they went to, of course, Mary Joa's. I think it's the same thing with Wano. I think Venus Juro was of course, he's a Celestial Dragon, but he initially is from Wano, like how Doflamingo was initially from just Rosa, his family, and then they went to the Mary Joa's. I see it like that, honestly, but definitely want to say, let me see something. Dragon left the Marines and started the Rev. Of course, he wanted nothing but strength. That,
Yeah, to answer Sky Limit, I mentioned Power Rangers and I mentioned in like, the Pokemon Elite Four members. I'm just giving LegendMac scenarios of where people hold a certain level of power in a verse and you don't get to see them display that power until the end when it's actually time.
Yeah, I feel like he just joined right now. He just joined randomly and just heard he talking about Power Rangers. It's like, what the hell? He didn't get the reference.
Even if you go to Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal, right? It's one scene where Lance joins you at the Team Rocket hideout to help you, and you see his Dragonite Hyper Beam of Team Rocket Grunt, but it's not like you get to see what level his Pokemon are on and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you kind of just gotta trust that Dragon is that strong.
Yeah. But yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. This was a good stream, bro. 2 hours. We almost did 2 hours. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a good stream. We talked about the main topic. We actually had extra topics too. So,
right.
If you guys missed the stream, don't worry. I will be pushing out clips. Everyone, go check out Ty, bro. How to say this guy is actually one of the goats of the One Piece community. I think most of you guys already know him. So everyone, check out his channel. Go subscribe to his channel. He's planning to do some big things in the future. So go support him. And if you guys want more collabs with Kai, put it in the comment section. Like the video too. We only got like 25 likes right now. Like the video up, guys. So that's really gonna show me that you guys want Ty on the channel more often because how does this this is how it's gonna be, Me and him are gonna talk about One Piece and it's gonna go on for hours, Easy content right here, But Ty, you have any last words, before we end off the stream?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a great stream. We got to cover a lot. I appreciate you inviting me, and thanks for everybody joining. Thanks for the donations.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll probably see you in a future stream. The next thing that I drop on my channel will probably be some type of a One Piece song once I hear the right beat and I write my lyrics to it. But if y'all go to my channel, right, it's a thing. It says like go to my playlist. It says like One Piece songs. You can hear all the songs that I dropped in that playlist over there.
Dropping these One Piece raps like he put on Twitter too as well. But go to the link in the description box. You'll see his channel. Subscribe to his channel. Like turn on notifications. Support his channel, guys. He has some big things planned. And you have to understand, Ty is he's not a regular guy in the community, bro. He's a legend, bro. He's been doing this for years, So I think Ty is one of the best One Piece power scalers because when people how to say this, regardless how you feel about his takes, when people argue with him, it's not a 1 minute argument. It's gonna go on for a while, How to say this, So,
and also, what has always happened, I'm not going to say always like it happens 100% of the time, but probably like 90% of the time, I say some stuff that people might not agree with in the moment. So that's why I could go on is that they'll challenge me a lot in the moment, but I'm not going to push back. I'm going to defend my stance. But what ends up happening, the way that One Piece plays out, it's like, oh snap, Ty was right. We didn't think the power scaling was like that. We didn't think the story was going to play out like that. But, I was right. So then it's like I have high credibility.
Yeah.
It's a difference between because it's some people, they're saying wild takes that just don't happen. And for the moment, it causes some type of a hype or it could be something to talk about or whatever. But I would say like those people takes aren't coming true. My stuff, while it might have been like wild takes, it actually, came true. And it's like, oh, okay, I was on to something. Just people didn't see it. So I do think that in the stream, I was able to accurately power scale the admirals of where they're somewhere in between Lucci and Luffy.
Yeah. And we're going to do more power scaling content as well too. Like I want to do like versus battles and stuff like that. Cause I think that's really what how to say, it's gonna be really good content for you guys. So how to say is, you guys want these videos, guys, don't worry, they're coming. And I gotta thank Ty, yo. I'm not gonna lie, he really did it up, yo. This is probably the easiest stream I ever did, yo. Like the last stream I did, I was by myself. How to say, I stayed on for like 40 minutes, yo. I got out of there, bro. This one is easy 2 hours we did right now. And I can't lie, we could have done 2 more hours, but I can't lie to you. I gotta do some other shit before I can't lie to you. I actually gotta do some other shit, you know. But yo, we're gonna do another stream, and how to say is, yo, you're gonna see Ty again, but can't lie, I'm gonna end the stream, guys. Now, man, it was good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Any last words, Ty, before I end it? Before I press the end button?
Oh nah.
Okay,
Peace.
peace out, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me click on the end stream real quick. We're still here and end it.